The observation deck of the Zenith Collective hummed with quiet precision. Panels glowed. Translators murmured. A dozen species moved in practiced harmony. Ambassador Thelzer of the Corvathi Dominion stood at the front rail. His forearms were crossed. His mandibles clicked with impatience. On the main view screen, the planet below filled the display. Veridio Prime, once stable, once mapped, once considered safe for a human colony. Now it was a swirling mass of atmospheric violence category. 7 storm cells rolled across the surface in stacked spirals. Lightning stitched the sky into a single living web. Wind shear ripped cloud banks into ragged tatters. The Elzar leaned closer. His voice was low and sharp. The Elzar, the human colony, should have evacuated long ago. At his side, his aide CESS tilted her crystalline head. CESS. Perhaps they had reasons. Ambassador Thelzer spat in disgust. Thelzer, humans always have reasons. Thelzer, they let emotion cloud survival instinct. A second figure approached. Heavy footfalls, armored plating. Commander Felsher, the Corvathi military liaison, stopped beside them. Felsher, orbital storm tracking says the safe zones are shrinking. Felsher, nothing on the surface should still be alive. Thelzer stared at the screen. Thelzer, and yet, they delay. Thelzer, typical human arrogance. What none of them knew was this. Down in the storm-ravaged wilderness, a woman had already refused to leave. Her name was Dr. ELLERA Voss, and her choice defied every protocol in the colonial evacuation code before the storms reached their current fury. ELLERA served as chief xenobiologist at Outpost Meridian. Her assignment was simple. On paper, study Veridio Prime's apex predator. The Feli's Tempest. Most crews called them Stormcats. They were magnificent, though the size of earthlines. 6 legs built for speed and balance. Bioluminescent stripes that pulsed like living circuitry, and eyes. Eyes that did not look like an animal's eyes. They looked like minds. ELLERA had logged their behaviors for years. Pack coordination, subsonic communication, territorial patterns, seasonal migrations. One line repeated in her reports. Feli's Tempest intelligence is unusually high. Borderline sapient. They had never attacked humans, not until breeding season came, when the mating cycle began. The adult stormcats vanished into the deep canyons. They went to breathe. They went to fight. They went to survive. And they left something behind. A crash of cubs, 17 of them tucked in a cave system near Outpost Meridian, barely weaned, too young to hunt, too young to travel. Standard procedure dictated non-interference. Galactic law was clear. Indigenous species took precedence over colonial interests. Then the atmospheric processes began to fail. Storm barriers weakened. Shelters lost power. Sensors screamed warnings across every console. The evacuation order came through. Immediate withdrawal. No exceptions. No delays. ELLERA stood at the mouth of the cave and watched the cubs huddle together, curious, hungry, blinking at her as if she belonged there. And she made her decision. She opened a channel to the departing shuttle. Captain Aldrich answered, tension visible even through the static. Aldrich, Dr. Voss, you have to move now. Aldrich, the storms will tear the outpost apart. ELLERA did not look away from the cubs. ELLERA, I am staying. A pause. Aldrich, that is insane. Aldrich, the storms will kill you. ELLERA, then they will kill me with them. ELLERA, I will not leave them to die alone. Aldrich's voice hardened. Aldrich's galactic law says we do not interfere. ELLERA, galactic law did not stand in this cave. ELLERA, I did, the channel hissed. The shuttle clock ticked down. Orders became threats. ELLERA ended the call. The evacuation shuttle departed without her. Up in orbit, reports marked her as a casualty. On the surface, she became something else. ELLERA survived. She took salvage tech from the abandoned outpost and turned the cave system into shelter. Thermal barriers, patched together from insulation plates and broken hull sections. Moisture condensers built from filtration coils and cracked tubing. Heat sinks placed in the stone to store warmth when the storms dipped below freezing. She learned the canyon's hidden tunnels by touch. She mapped airflow. She marked safe pockets. She listened. Asterisk foo was the next problem. In the canyon walls lived rabbit-like burrowers. Fast, plentiful at first, then scarce as the weather worsened. ELLERA hunted them, not for sport, for survival, and she taught the cubs to do the same. It started with imitation. They watched her. They followed her scent. They learned the timing of a leap. Then it became instinct, a coordinated rush, a ring closing in, a kill delivered with brutal efficiency, and after each hunt, they returned to her, not like animals returning to a den, like a pack returning to its center. ELLERA realized something during those long, dangerous weeks. They were not just surviving around her, they were accepting her. She built a modified vocalizer from spare parts, a throat-mounted device that could generate subsonic tones. At first, it sounded wrong, flat, mechanical, empty, but the cubs responded anyway. They tilted their heads. They blinked. They stepped closer. So ELLERA listened harder. She recorded their calls. She analyzed the patterns. She tuned the device until the tones matched their frequency. Then she tried again. A low pulse, a rising rumble, a short, sharp click. The cubs answered, not with fear, with recognition. They had names. Now names ELLERA could say. One stood out above the rest. CORIN. The boldest, the fastest, the first to test her boundaries, then defend them. Corin was the first to bring her a kill. He dropped a twitching burrower at her feet and stared at her with luminous amber eyes. Not pleading, not threatening. Waiting. LERA. Nodded. LERA. Good. Corin's stripes brightened. In that moment, the pack line shifted. The cubs were still young, but they treated her like one of their own, and without ever intending it, ELLERA became their alpha. The storms grew worse. Safe corridors vanished. Food thinned. The cave system shook under thunder that felt like the world breaking apart. ELLERA faced the data with a scientist's cold clarity. They could not stay. They had to migrate. There was a place, to the south. The southern calderas. Volcanic vents. Underground warmth. Cave ecosystems rich with adapted prey. It was their best chance. The journey was brutal even in calm weather. Across open terrain, over fractured ridges, through wind lanes that could peel metal in storms like these. It was suicide, unless you traveled with stormcats. The Zenith Collective detected the anomaly later. Not a signal, not a distress ping. A pattern. Movement. CESS called out from her station, wonder creeping into her voice. Cess. Ambassador, you need to see this. Thelza stepped forward. The view screen zoomed in through debris and lightning. Thermal imaging resolved. Shapes within the chaos. 17 large feline signatures. And one human. Thelza's mandibles went still. Thelza impossible. Felsha leaned in, eyes narrowing. Felsha, nothing survives out there, but the signatures moved steadily. Purposefully. Not fleeing. Traveling. Down on the surface. ELLERA rode on Corin's back. Her makeshift armor was stitched from shed stormcat hide and selvage plating. Static crackled across it, dancing along the edges of her shoulder guards. The cubs were not cubs anymore. They had grown massive. Their bodies had adapted fast, the way their species was known to do. 6 legs distributed weight across unstable ground. Muscle density increased. Hide thickened. Stripes flared brighter with every storm pulse. They moved in formation. Bioluminescent. Signals rippled through the pack. A flicker meant slow. A bright flash meant danger. A steady pulse meant follow. ELLERA had learned to read the light. Then lightning struck nearby. A column of white fire split the ground and turned. Stone to steam, the pack did not panic. They moved toward it. They lowered their bodies. Their stripes blazed. Their hides crackled and they absorbed the charge. ELLERA had discovered the truth the hard way. Stormcats did not only endure storms. They fed on them. Electrical energy. Ionized air, the violence of the sky, it fueled them. That was why they ran toward lightning. That was why their eyes looked awake in the storm. The pack moved as one organism. When a chasm opened in their path, Corin leaped first. He cleared the gap and landed with all 6 legs gripping rock. One by one the others followed. Perfect timing. No hesitation. When flying debris threatened ELLERA, 3 stormcats positioned themselves beside her. Living shields. Shrapnel struck their hides and skittered away. ELLERA stayed low and guided them. She had studied this terrain for years. She knew every canyon, every ridgeline, every crater that hid sudden drop-offs. She raised a vocalizer. A subsonic song rolled into the storm. Not human words. Pack language. Direction. Warning. Trust. The stormcats followed. They trusted the strange, hairless creature, who smelled like pack. Up in orbit, Thelza made a decision. Thelza, deploy a rescue team. A bridge officer hesitated. Officer, Ambassador, the storms will shred a shuttle. Thelza's voice turned hard. Thelza, that human survived on the surface. Felser, we are not abandoning her now. The rescue shuttle descended. Winds hammered its hull. Stabilizers strained. Systems screamed. But it pushed through and found the heat signature at the edge of the southern calderas, and there, at the entrance to the volcanic region, stood ELLERA, surrounded by her pack. Corin stood at her right, nearly as tall as she was now, eyes steady, stripes burning amber in the storm glow. The other Stormcats formed a protective circle, not afraid. Alert. The rescue team leader spoke through external speakers. Leader. Dr. Voss, we are here to evacuate you. Leader approached the shuttle slowly. ELLERA's laughter was stolen by the wind, but her voice came through on the comm channel, clear and calm. ELLERA, evacuate me. ELLERA, I am not leaving. Leader. Leader, the planet is dying. ELLERA placed a hand on Corin's massive head. He rumbled a deep note that vibrated through the ground. ELLERA, no. ELLERA, the planet is changing. ELLERA, and we are changing with it. She gestured toward the calderas behind her. Thermal vents pulsed with life. Warmth rose in waves. Bioluminescence traced the cave walls like living constellations. ELLERA, this is their new home. ELLERA, our new home. The rescue leader's tone sharpened. Leader, you cannot stay here. Leader, the collective will mark this world uninhabitable. ELLERA looked at the shuttle as if it were the entire galaxy wearing one metal face. ELLERA, tell the collective, Veridio Prime is not lost. ELLERA, it is just not for them anymore. Silence filled the comm line then. Quieter, Leader. You chose cubs over civilization. ELLERA answered without hesitation. ELLERA answered without hesitation. ELLERA, I chose family. Up on the Zenith Collective. Felser watched the live feed for a long moment. He did not speak. Cess stood beside him, voice soft. Cess. Humans are not like us. Felser straightened. Respect visible in the way he held his posture. Felser. No. Felser, when we abandon, they adapt. Felser, when we flee, they fight. Felser, and when they love, they forsake nothing. On the screen. ELLERA turned away from the shuttle. She walked into the caldera depths. Her pack flowed around her like water, like light, like something ancient and unbreakable. The rescue shuttle rose back into orbit. It left behind a woman who had chosen storm over safety, and in doing so had become something the galaxy had never documented. A human who ran with monsters, a human who made them family. Deep in the southern calderas, warmth wrapped the stone. ELLERA lay down to sleep. Around her, 17 Stormcats curled close. Their subsonic purring filled the cave like a slow heartbeat. They knew, beyond doubt, that their stubborn alpha would never forsake them. Not for any law, not for any station, not for any storm the universe could conjure. Asterisk if you enjoyed this HFY story. Hit subscribe and join HFY Survival Arena for more epic sci-fi narrations. Drop a like and comment below. Your support keeps these stories coming.